U.S. intelligence agency, mind control.
The only thing baiting about being hit by a tornado would be people who are already familiar with who I am.
Yeah, maybe.
But haven't watched because they don't watch streams or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be something like that.
You know, and then I was thinking, you think there's more people. But I turned a fan on. Is it blowing in the microphone?
No.
Okay. Because, it's that tornado humidity. You think that, because of Rizzler talk, there's more people who know who Baby Gronk is than Gronk?
What the fuck is Baby Gronk?
Baby Gronk is the Riz King.
You need to touch grass.
In the day's other headlines, Ukrainian officials say at least 31 people
I honestly
are dead
have no idea.
and more than
I'm just
150
stuff. I know Gronk is Gronkowski.
Yeah.
But I just know that Baby Gronk is the Riz King.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that means.
Others were injured after a barrage of Russian missiles hit several cities.
I'm pretty sure it's
is it just him and did he have a broccoli haircut and then just
no, he's
ways side to side doing this? That's some
it's like a
attractive
child
thing. You look like a moron.
It's like a child, right? And his dad made him a meme so his dad could
oh no,
clout chase. It's it's weird or something. I don't really know. I don't know because I'm not on Rizzler talk,
Yeah,
because it's owned by the Chinese. And I'm racist.
Strike partially destroyed a major children's hospital in the capital city of Kyiv. Stephanie Tsai has the story.
Brick by brick, medical staff and volunteers formed human chains to clear the wreckage of the al-qeada Children's Hospital in Kyiv.
Now,
Mayor Vitaly
what's
Klitschko
great
said
about
it was
these
one of the
human
worst
chain
attacks.
things is that you can always predict that there's propaganda that are going to make one guy a crisis actor because he's handling all the kids. So they'll be like, oh, one guy here rescuing all the children, clearly. Crisis actor. Because they literally do this every bombing in Syria to try to say that it's fake. It's like, oh, the same guy went in there to rescue all the kids. Because they will take it out of context that a human chain was formed.
Yeah. What can you do?
Make it illegal to lie.
Yet.
There are people under the rubble. There may be children among them.
I'm not saying it's a good idea.
The oncology department left in ruins, cancer patients slowly moved towards safety, their IV bags rolling with them.
Yeah, fuck oncology.
Air raid alarms forced patients from their hospital beds and down to the basement. Ina Beretsnitska rushed her daughter to shelter after the first explosion.
I could not think that such a thing could happen, that there could be attacks on the hospital with sick children. It is difficult to describe in words.
The strikes hit multiple other buildings
I
in
just
Kyiv,
hear stuff like
including
that,
apartments.
and I'm just like, Russia is the country that's invading you, right? Kind of notorious for this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Claims they only targeted military sites, but
yet, even here on this stream, you'll hear more about us talking about how NATO bombed that hospital in the Serbian conflicts, right? You'll hear us talk about that hospital more because that's what they post about. That's what everyone talks about. So even though Russia is notorious for bombing hospitals, we're still just screeching about the one time the U.S. did, which I believe wasn't deliberate, but even if it was one hospital.
It's
30 years ago, 20 to 30 years
more
ago.
to the point is that it was 30 years ago, and it's the one time that it's happened. It's not excusing the fact that it's the one time it's happened. It's the fact that it's only happened once in the amount. They love to go on about how much America bombs other countries, right? Well, if they bombed countries so much and have only hit one hospital, potentially on accident, maybe on purpose. I'd say that's a pretty good record. Israel's gone so far as to wipe out 100% of the hospitals in Gaza. So,
Yeah,
there's
right.
that.
Which
Russia,
they're just an agent of the United States, so that's the
of
United States
course,
doing that.
Russia is notorious for bombing infrastructure, which includes hospitals. Clearly,
Civilian.
right?
Well, we bomb infrastructure but it's like, and that kills people too. But it's like, the power infrastructure.
Yeah, it's more
You know?
attacking the actual
Yeah,
root
but
of
like
the infrastructure, not
Russia was doing
hospitals.
that in the worst, like with was a really bad winter day in Ukraine.
Mm.
They would bomb power stations.
Yes.
Right?
Well, they would bomb specifically. I think they would bomb public transport, like public transit systems, so you couldn't move anywhere. As well as I think is what they did in the
But,
initial
like,
days.
Bombing civilian infrastructure specifically so the weather will help kill civilians and roll
Yeah.
blackouts.
Yeah, that's pretty cold. No pun intended.
One of the great tragedies of that was broadcast, like the moment of America's first fuck up. I believe this happens even like it's the story starts before they bomb the people taking shelter in shock and awe, because they missed one target and hit a fucking refugees and killed a lot of people there, right?
Yes.
But I think that was the second controversy that came out. The first one starts with, what about Kunduz Hospital airstrike in 2015? See, I'm not sure about that one, but that's so. Of course, Kunduz, as Jack, that's where al-qeada, ISIS, and the Taliban like to meet.
Yeah.
So, they've hit other targets, other schools and hospitals and stuff, though. But it's just like the fact that one bombing specifically is so highlighted and nobody gives a fuck.
This is from Doctors Without Borders.
Mm-hmm. Killing 42 people.
42 people.
Which is about, I think that's about how much they killed in the civilians they killed in those bombings in Serbia.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it hit an MSF hospital that would likely, as it says in this article, right, the high quality free surgical care to victims of all types of trauma, that would be highly needed in Afghanistan. Like, that's pretty repugnant.
And
this
is a border zone, so it was always it was not as troublesome as the South, but it was always an issue, this region, because it was a border region, and the Uzbek Islamic group.
Is it up north? Is it?
Yeah, it's on the border with Tajikistan. It might be on the border with Turkmenistan, though. But it's
northeast Afghanistan. Yeah. Make long and dangerous journeys to Kabul or Pakistan to receive the care.
Yeah, it's also, that's the thing, is it's out of the way from Kabul too, right? So it's while it is one of the population centers, it's also remote.
Yes,
and that's the issue with Afghanistan in general.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so it says, throughout September 2015, fighting between government and opposition forces became more intense and shifted to the Kunduz city itself. 28th of September, the hospital was suddenly in the middle of a quickly shifting front line when the armed opposition launched a takeover of the city. The team was overwhelmed with hundreds of wounded patients.
I love how Doctors Without Borders will say things like armed opposition and things like that, because they are so neutral about it.
Yeah. My team was overwhelmed with hundreds of wounded patients in the 5 days leading up to the attack. The team in Kunduz had treated 376 patients in the emergency room. On the night of the attack, there are 105 patients in the hospital. 140 of our international and national staff were present, 80 of whom were on duty. The attack was an AC-130, fired 211 shells on the main hospital building where patients were sleeping in their beds and being
Jesus
operated.
Christ. That's so
Fuck
bad, the fact that
me.
it's an AC-130. How do you fuck up that hard? Like, I can
Oh
understand,
my God.
like, a few guide bombs dropping on a
Yeah.
target that fucked up.
So it wasn't just a bomb. It was probably the 55 millimeter.
Like, how long are they like, it takes a long time to spit that many shells.
Mm-hmm.
It's unless it's the smaller gun. That's of course faster.
I'm just double checking what their.
But I
weapon
imagine it
is.
was the artillery gun that's on that ship.
Well, there's the big one, which is the 105, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a smaller one. So there's a 30 millimeter,
Yeah.
which is like the machine gun one, and then there's like a. It's almost, I think, similar. It's
The one
not,
that I use in Earth Defense Force is the one that's the middle ground one.
Yeah, it kind of slower firing, but not as fast. Here we go.
Yeah. But like
30 millimeter.
It's got to be the 55, right?
Yeah, that's
The middle, but still, those fire, like, that's a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
211.
That's a lot of time to be making the mistake. Like, the sustained fire on that. Like, hopefully somebody who is a fucking expert, maybe in the future when they're a fanatic and going back and watching all our clips or something, or after this is reposted, they can say how
40 millimeter.
How many? Yes, that's the one. Yeah, because I use them in EDF.
Yeah, so there's a 25 millimeter Gatling.
Mhm.
There's a 40 millimeter Bofors cannon and a 105 howitzer.
Yep, those are all the ones that I use in EDF on my gunship build. We would never. Well, yeah, of course it was a mistake. Like
it's one of these.
Like, it's obviously a mistake, but it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the only thing we're saying is like, wow, they do better than Israel at this point.
Yeah,
which is not a fucking accomplishment, you know?
Yeah, and like it's not we're not praising them. Like, we're just saying that out of all of everything for such limited amount of attacks on hospitals, this being a pretty fucking egregious one of all, like, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Like, this is egregious.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about this, but immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh, I could see them bombing a hospital in that region.
So they just unloaded with one of these, basically, is what they're saying. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's basically artillery.
Yeah,
that's hundreds of artillery shells on a hospital. What was I saying before that, though? That's the question.
Yeah, 24 patients, 14 staff, and 4 caretakers were killed. 37 injured. Patients burned in their bed. Medical staff were decapitated or lost limbs. Others were shot from the air while they fled the burning building. Very cool. The attack was from the air, lasted around 1 hour. The main hospital building came under precise and repeated airstrikes whilst the surrounding buildings were left mostly untouched. Oh my God. That is fucking
I'd like
revolting.
to see the tape too, if they have one.
This is
not so much the tape,
collateral murder level.
Yeah. I want to hear the audio because I want to hear the communication of the auditors and stuff. They probably have a transcript.
Surely.
Of course, yeah. Of course, the Taliban have done worse. It's like like in I talk about this a lot, but with the fight against ISIS, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of highlight on the U.S. using white phosphorus in Mosul, right? But like ISIS had like the car bombs that they were able to deploy and use took out entire blocks. Just like Assad's barrel bombs,
Do you see this?
It's the coordinates.
Yeah. that we provided GPS coordinates of the trauma hospital to the U.S. Department of Defense, Afghanistan Ministry of Interior and Defense, and the U.S.
There you
Army.
go.
in
Look at
Kabul.
that. So, source anonymous sources claimed that the cockpit recording showed the AC-1 test its validity, and that's what I'm saying. Is there's no way this, because like it's just you're staring at it. There's no way as an experienced trained gunner you're looking at, and it's probably happened at night too, right? There's no way you're looking at this and you don't know it's a hospital.
Yes. So here's an actual picture of the building.
And so this one I think is worse than collateral murder, if anything.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I think the team should have refused the order.
I agree.
They should have refused the order.
Yep. Can you put in a FOIA to get the audio?
Well, there's a 14 here. So this was copied from a wiki, so that 14 is the source for it. So we can probably find it.
Okay.
But if it's not released, I will put it in a Freedom of Information Act request for it, because they're really easy to do.
Yeah, that would be sick. Getting the tapes for this. If it's not out, that'd be a thing for us to do. There you go. But yeah, all right. I want to keep reading though. This is
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what I was saying before that.
Okay, so October 3rd.
Here we go. I think so. Campbell, Kunduz hospital attack, tragic, avoidable accident. So instead of a mistake, avoidable accident is it's kind of like a hot and cold. It's not. I'd say hot and cold because you're pointing out that it was avoidable. It didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And then you're also being like, oopsie, not my fault, accident. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, but like 42 people died, so like.
Yeah, but you see what I mean? It's a hot and cold. It's a hot and cold type thing. Better than Boeing.
This is very true. Okay. So just after 2 a.m., U.S. military airplane repeatedly bombed the main hospital, shooting at anybody fleeing the building. Okay. And then 3:10, the airstrike stopped. Yeah.
Here's the source for the claim that the recording showed they questioned its legality. So
Slate.
Yeah, but the main sources on here are like MSF, NBC.
Yeah.
It's all sourcing from other people.
Okay. Over the course of an hour, MSF staff in Afghanistan and New York made multiple attempts to stop the airstrikes via text and calls to Afghan military, ICRC, UN, and US military.
Whoa! This is crazy. So, hang on. This is a really interesting story here. Because this is like when I found out about that attack from Biden. So right here it says this is the correspondent. It gives the correspondent who has it. So this guy, he claimed revealed that the crew questioned whether his attack was illegal. He also quoted a U.S. defense official suggesting that the attack may in fact amount to a war crime.
Damn.
No country does that shit.
Oh, saying that it could be a war crime.
Yeah.
100%. Who was this?
Well, he's quoting an official.
Okay.
So it's a credible Pentagon correspondent who has worked there. Congress, who received classified briefing on the accident. Recordings may not have been released publicly, even to the members of Congress. So they may not even allow Congress to listen to the recordings.
Wow.
Savage. But like the whole thing where it's like even then the Taliban have done worse. The ISIS have done worse, right?
I still don't like doing that sort of stuff.
I think like even Ukraine, I think that's what they would say, right?
Yeah.
But the United States is here being like, like you wouldn't have Zelensky or, well, of course Zelensky, maybe somebody in like a defense position would say that something might have been a war crime if they did something, you know.
Maybe. I just don't like this. Everybody does it. Is this willingness to like go, yeah, but like,
yeah,
they do it
that's
too.
what I'm
Like,
saying is that
we're
I
not
think
talking
it's
about them,
that's
you
what I
know?
think the uniqueness is that
Yeah.
that they're the behind closed doors, basically, like they let it be known that it was a war crime.
Mm.
You know, they didn't even
Yeah.
do that with like that strike when they were leaving Afghanistan that killed all those kids.
Yeah.
They still
This is why I donate to them.
yeah. Well, that's also why we market ourselves as like we want to be like Doctors Without Borders. Like, and when
Yeah.
we say that, we don't mean like saving lives. It's like the way they report and like where they go and the resources they give.
Yeah. But they have their Reporters Without Borders thing too, which I said that we should look into like doing a sort of partnership with them, because that would be a good way to do what we want to do.
Yeah, we need to also, because we really are backed up right now, but hopefully let's try to get the fucking paperwork filed by the end of the month, because we definitely have the money for it now.
Okay.
And I'll, like, you know, because like if Break Through News is going to be a 501c3, that's really what put me over the edge.
Yeah, that they're a 501c3.
Yeah.
Like, get fucked.
Oh, I was talking about the infrastructure before, right? The deliberate hitting of infrastructure to kill civilians.
Yes.
Like, it's really hard to explain that to people to understand. You know, your average person who's just like, America does too much overseas and interfering in countries and stuff. Like it almost makes it hard to explain like the crimes that Israel does, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know, there you go, because like no matter how hard the United States tries to keep their reputation as clean as possible, shit is going to get through. You know, and it also depends on the admin, because it's not like this isn't the same government that fucking tortured people.
This is true. So like it's I mean, as you said, hot and cold, right?
I mean, even Trump, because Obama like campaigned on closing Gitmo and he failed. Abu Zubaydah's still there for no reason, right? Sounds like jewelry just fell off my desk. So like, he's like, oh, there's going to be that irreducible number. This is like a classic Obama, you know, just like him talking about drone striking American citizens, you know. And Trump's fucking running, and he's talking about, and we're gonna bring Gitmo back, and we're gonna fill it with bad dudes. Like it sounds like Frank from, like, seriously, that's what Donald Trump is if Frank from Always Sunny ran for president. But just like that, we're gonna fill it with bad dudes. Why would you fucking go up there and talk like that?
Yeah. Like,
and then people cheered for it just because Trump's saying it. It's fucking wild to me that type of shit happens, because like they would never do that for Bush, Colin Powell, Dickless.
Yeah.
None of them.
In President Volodymyr Zelensky's home.
Are you aware of a CIA psychological profile about you, sir? Would you be interested in hearing what the CIA had to say? This secret study portrays as a brilliant but dangerous megalomaniac who is likely to pursue his own aims in disregard of U.S. interests. He's an uncertain ally. Shall I go on, or would you prefer that I stop, sir?